Welcome back. I am glad you are here with me. Today, you're going to hear my testimony. You're going to hear how I use oils. Now, let me caveat with this. I am not a doctor. I am not here to prescribe anything to you. I am not here to claim that works for me is going to immediately work for you. I am not trying to heal you. What I'm doing is sharing my story. Okay. I have to say that because I don't want you to get the wrong impression that I'm going to go take this and everything in your life is going to be better. Like, that's not what I'm after. Remember, I'm a mom. I mentor moms. I want to just simply implement and share with you what works for me, and then you choose what works for you. Okay. I will tell you some of my stories of what didn't work for me. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you on a journey of some of the oils that I use. I will try to keep this less than 20 minutes. I don't even know how long yesterday went yet. I haven't even looked at it. But today I'm going to look at about 20 minutes of sharing with you what oils I use in my home and for why. And let me tell you, I haven't practiced this. Like, I haven't gone through and I don't have a script in front of me. I'm just going to share from my heart. You ready? All right, let's start with one of my favorites, peppermint. Peppermint is fabulous. You noticed yesterday the bottle was empty, right? It's still empty, but I can smell it. I use peppermint pretty much on a daily basis. Peppermint is very good for energy in our home. So if I'm feeling a little draggy, a little under the weather, I literally will take this. Remember, this is an ingestible oil, and I put it right under my tongue. Now, some people don't like that. It's super, super duper spicy. But in fact, I should use it right now. If I had any in it, I would, because it will also it clears out my nose. So I use peppermint constantly. Like I said yesterday, I do use it in my drink. Now, one of the number one ways I use peppermint is combined with lavender and, oh, there it is, lemon. This combination. Now, remember I said this bottle here, lemon, is not in one of the white bottles, right? But remember what we talked about yesterday? It does come in the white bottle. So I know I can ingest it. And this bottle has the same oil as the white bottle. So I feel very comfortable going, it's the same oil. So this combination, if you can see it, peppermint, lavender, and lemon. That's what I've been taking every day for my allergies. Remember I told you that that's what I use my oils for my allergies. I use them in those capsules that we talked about, these little veggie caps. And I take it internally. I put them in the capsule and I take it every single day. What it has done for me is my eyes are not nearly as puffy. In fact, they're not puffy right now. My nose is not nearly as congested. I'm not sneezing like I was doing. And that's what I use for what we call my allergy balm. Will it work for you? I don't know. You've got to try it. You see, your body will react differently than mine. So let me tell you my story of it didn't work for me. Everybody, when I started, said, oh, for a headache, use peppermint. Use peppermint for a headache. Your headache will just go away magically. I went, okay, I get headaches. First headache came along. I used my oil. I was like, I'm new. I'm going to use my oil. I got peppermint. I put it, there was oil in the bottle at that point. I put it in my hand. I rubbed it. I smelled it. I put it on. I still had a headache. All day I had a headache. It was horrible. It was pounding. I was like, okay, I believe my friend. I really do. But this just isn't working. And that night, I took an ibuprofen. Got rid of the headache, right? You're like, well, why would you use the oils? Because I really knew that the ibuprofen was tearing up my stomach. And I didn't want the side effects of the ibuprofen because it's really bad for your digestive system. So the next time I got a headache, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it again. I put that peppermint on. I rubbed it on my head. I still had the headache. I was getting a little tired. By the end of the day, again, popped the ibuprofen. I'm like, okay, well, maybe my body's just not going to do the headache thing, right? Oh. So then I looked at the reference book that my friend had given me. My friend gave me a reference book. It was actually something similar to this one. And in the back, there was a section that said headaches. Okay, let me see what it says. And in that section, it also mentioned another oil I had, which was lavender. And I'm like, well, maybe somebody had told me that my body might react differently. Maybe my body reacts differently to lavender. So the next headache that came along, I put peppermint. You can tell already it worked, right? I put lavender, both of them, in my hand. I rubbed that on. I rubbed it. I smelled it. And within 5 minutes, I went whoosh. And my headache literally disappeared. I was so excited. I was like, my body needs lavender. And that was me figuring out, that was one of my first aha moments. It was not my first, but that was me figuring out my body is going to react differently than my friends' bodies. So just because they tell me peppermint works for a headache, I had to go look in my reference book and go, what else works? Because the essential oils are very multifaceted, and a lot of the different oils will do different things in each person's body, but they generally support the same system. So when I looked in my reference book and it mentioned lavender, I was like, I have that. So I used what I had and it worked on my body. It was amazing. Since then, I have actually figured out I have different types of headaches. And since we're talking about that, I will talk about, this was one of my other aha moments, Panaway. So again, back to the headache thing. This was one of my main issues. You may have a totally different issue. In fact, I'm sure most of you do. That was one of my main issues, was headaches. And actually, as I stopped using all the toxic stuff in my home, I rarely get one anymore. Yeah, it's amazing. Some of the toxic products that are in your home could be causing a lot of what you experience. So please, this is tangent here. We switched out our cleaning supplies. We switched out our supplements. We switched out, that's hard to say, our soaps, our shampoos, all of these things that were going on my body. And the toxins that were on them, when you put shampoo on, it goes all over your body. Your skin's your largest organ. That's getting absorbed into your body. And all of those things, I switched out my makeup. Everything helped me feel better as an overall person. It was crazy. So yes, at the beginning, I had a lot of headaches. Panaway. This one is one of my favorite. Well, I'll probably say that 5 or 6 times today. Panaway is one of my favorites. Why? Because I hold my tension in my neck. And so when I get tense, I hold it right there. Well, when I went to use the headache thing again, right? My peppermint and lavender, this time it didn't work. I was like, okay, but I knew the trick. Okay, girl, go to your reference book. So I did. I went to my reference book and it talked about stress. And Panaway was mentioned as a good reliever. So that time I went right to it. I put Panaway right on my neck, just dropped it on, and same type of sensation. I could feel the tension just melt from my body. Panaway has helichrysum in it. It has wintergreen in it. Those two are very muscle relaxing. So when my son gets home from swim, if he is sore, we will rub Panaway on his legs. If you hold tension in your neck, that means you're getting a sore neck, right? You're tensing those muscles up. You're using those muscles time and time again. Panaway is fabulous for that. It releases tension and releases muscle soreness. Fabulous for any type of workout or anything like that. We have growing pains. Since we're talking a lot to moms, if your kids go through growing pains, I put a roller ball on this thing. I'll show you the roller ball. It's this little guy here. I would put a roller ball on my kids' Panaway, and that way they don't have to drop it. It literally rolls right on for them. And they would use it for their growing pains. If their legs got sore, they'd put it all over their legs. It was fabulous. It helped so much. That and bananas. Remember, bananas are really good for growing kids when their legs are sore. Just a helpful little tip. All right, so we're talking lavender. When I don't sleep, I sometimes have a hard time sleeping at night. When I've been talking with people, when I've had people over to my house, when we just have a party of any sort, my brain just gets stimulated. And so lavender helps me sleep at night. How do I use it? I literally put it topically on my forehead. I like to put it on my earlobes. It again is a connection to my brain. Also, oddly enough, the bottom of your feet have a ton of receptors on them. And so you put lavender on the bottom of your feet and it goes all the way up to your brain. There's like a direct relationship there, and it helps to calm down. For kids, fabulous in the bedroom at night in that diffuser. Put 2 drops of lavender in their diffuser. It helps them calm down and sleep at night. You can also use it during the day if you've got someone who's a little more hyperactive. Lavender definitely calms down the body. Okay, another one I use at night is frankincense. Why? Frankincense is one of the holy anointing oils of the Bible, right? It was used in the tabernacle. It was used on the priests. It was used for calming the brain. So when I can't sleep at night, I literally will put, again, I have the roller ball on this one. I'll put it right on my forehead, or I'll put it on the back of my neck. And literally that one helps me sleep amazingly. Now, how else would I use this oil? I like it in the diffuser when I'm meditating or when I'm reading my scriptures. Fabulous for calming the environment. Wonderful at Christmas time when you're doing your devotions, like family devotions at night when you're reading the Bible for preparing for Christmas. Excellent oil to have. Now, one thing to know about frankincense, it has a very high frequency. So if you don't know what oil to use, your kid falls down, hits his head, and you're not sure what oil to use, when in doubt, frank out. Frankincense is probably the most multifaceted oil we have. It can be used topically. It can be used in the diffuser. You can ingest it. When in doubt, frank out. Go ahead and use that oil for anything that you're not sure of. That would be my number one. I will tell you, a friend of mine has a story of using frank for her hyperactive child, and it is tremendous. If you, well, yeah, I'm like, I don't have a link for it right now, but her story of frankincense and her hyperactive active child is amazing. She would take frankincense and literally just rub it like right here on his nose so that the smell is right there. And the calming effect was huge. So if you have a child who's a little more hyperactive, who needs to calm down, frankincense is fabulous. All right, gonna grab the next one. Something I use quite often is Digize. Digize, remember we talked about those commercials who, if you've got diarrhea, whatever, if I ever feel a little nauseous, if I feel queasy, this is what I use. I use Digize constantly. Now, I will be real with you. I do not like the smell of Digize. It smells like black licorice. If you like black licorice, you'll like the smell. But if you don't, I don't care for it. However, remember, the smell does not stay around long, and I put it on my stomach all the time if I'm feeling nauseous. My kids know if they're not feeling well, I put a drop of Digize right in their belly. Like, it's super funny. You've got a little kid and he's got a little tummy ache, drop it right in his belly button. You both laugh, it lightens the mood, and literally, this is one that helps my digestive system and my kids' digestive system settle down within seconds. It's amazingly how quickly this one works. Let me stop for a moment and tell you, you might be wondering, Digize isn't a plant, right? I've got lavender, I've got Digize. Lavender is a plant. Digize is not. This is a blend of different plants. So what Young Living in particular has done is they've studied, again, the frequency of the oils and the frequency of a healthy digestive system. And they're like, what oils will support that digestive system? And they combined a bunch of plants, still 100% all essential oil, but different plants combined to be a powerhouse for digestion. Now, peppermint works as well. Peppermint is a great digestive oil, but this is a powerhouse. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's where you get the different names. All right. We've already talked a little bit about this one, Raven and RC. They are both full with eucalyptus. Remember, this is what I've been using for my nose. So it's what I've got diffusing right now. This is very good for any respiratory issues. So if you are dealing with something that like a throat issue, a nose issue, these are great for temporarily relieving those issues. I use these all the time for my stuffy noses. Again, use what you want, but these books here, will reference and tell you how to use your oils. But we replaced the Benadryl because that's what I used to use to clear out my nose, and it just caused me to sleep. So that's what we use now. Okay. Moving on, I wanted to get to this story. Stress away. This was my first aha moment. We've talked a little bit about oils can be used for physical, but they can also be used for emotional. Stress away was my number one oil for years. When I got home with my kids, my son started freaking out. We homeschool, and my son started freaking out about math. If you're a homeschool mom, or if you're not a homeschool mom, you know how math can freak children out. He starts freaking out. Like, oh my gosh, she told me that emotions are good. Like, these oils are good for emotions. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. So I grabbed the Stress Sweat. I put a drop right on his wrist. I was still learning, like, and someone had told me wrist. I'm like, okay. So I put it on his wrist. He rubbed it together. I said, take a deep breath. He takes a deep breath. And within 30 seconds, that child was sitting there doing his math work without grumbling, without complaining. And I was like, okay, I really don't care at that point if that was the oil, if it really did what she told me it would do, or if that was a placebo effect and it was just the deep breath that caused it. I was like, I don't care whatsoever. I am sold because it worked. Now, I've come to find out that it actually did, remember the frequency thing, help his brain relax and go to a higher level frequency. So yes, it was the oil, but back then I really didn't care at all. I was like, that thing worked no matter what it was. Now, what is in Stress Away? It is ocotea and lime and vanilla. It smells to me like I'm on the beach in Jamaica with a margarita in my hand. Like, that's where it takes me. So when I put Stress Away on my body goes, oh yeah, relax. And it works. My kids literally used to grab my Stress Away, grab my Bible, and they'd put it together and go, Mom, do you need this? And it was really sweet because they understood that the Bible and my Stress Away were powerhouses together. Right? And I would take their advice and I would go put my Stress Away on. I'd go look at my Psalms and read the word and come back a better mom. It was fabulous. All right. What else have we talked about? Oh, we're running out of time here. I told you I'd keep it to 20 minutes. Valor is another one of my favorites. Holy cow, it gets me through so many days. Emotional oil. Also, I use it again for my back. Like, well, I say again, sometimes my headaches come from a back alignment issue. I use this one for that. So remember, what I'm telling you is these oils, there's so many uses for them. And I'm telling you my stories because that's what I can share, right? I have had oil after oil after oil that I've used with success. They have worked in our home to the point where we grab those way before we grab a pharmaceutical, because we know how powerful they are and how they don't have the side effects. So yes, every morning I oil up with Valor because I have 4 teenage boys. And whether you have littles or olders, you know the stress of being a mom. It can wear you down. And though I love it, I can also get very tense. And Valor helps me. It is an oil of courage. And so it helps me go, okay, I've got this. I can do this. And it helps me relax. The last oil I'm going to talk about in this, there are more oils to talk about. I could talk for days. I think we have over 300 oils, but that you don't have to worry about that. The oils I'm sharing with you are the ones I started with. And they come in the kit. So you don't have to put it all together. They literally put together a package for you that says, these support every system in your body. They support your respiratory, your digestive, your skin, your emotions. They support everything. And so if you start there, you've got it all. So I cannot stop without talking about this little baby, Thieves. It is our number one oil. Everybody wants Thieves. Now, how do I use this? I use this a lot in my tea. Remember, we talked about you can ingest. This combination here, this is what got me into Young Living. Oh, look at that. It's like, sorry, I digress. Okay, thieves and lemon. That was my journey to start with. Remember, I was looking for something to replace my cough syrup? That's what my friend told me. Put it in their water, do hot water, a drop of thieves, and 2 drops lemon with honey. And we replaced our cough syrup with that concoction. And now we call it our cough tea. And that's what we use now. We don't even have cough syrup in the home. This is what we go to. The kids know how to make it. Now, again, I have teenagers now, but they've learned since they were probably 10. We know how to make it, and it tastes good, and it soothes the throat as it goes down. And so that's what we've replaced. That was my whole journey. That's where I started this journey, was looking for cough syrup. And that's what I replaced it with. All right, I have story after story of things that we have used our oils for to replace something pharmaceutical or to just get through an emotion. You know, a lot of what I oil for now is emotions. I have hormonal boys. I had wiry kids who would cry over things. You know, I had kids who were upset over math. And so we oil for emotions as much as we oil for physical, if not more, because it works. And that's what I want you to take away today, is you don't have to know it all, because there are reference books. There are things you can go to. I didn't know all this when I started, and you won't know it all. It's okay. I still don't know it all. But one by one, there would be an issue come up, and I'd go, okay, instead of reaching for something else, or instead of just suffering through it, what could I use? And I would reach for my reference book. I go, oh, okay, let me try it. And if that didn't work, I'd look at my reference book again and go, oh, maybe try this oil for my body. And it was a fabulous journey, because I've learned so much about my own personal body and my own hormones and how things behave in my body. All right, again, I'm so pleased you're here, that you have made it through to this point. You are a rock star. So I'm super impressed that you're here. I don't know if you can hear my dogs barking upstairs. Tomorrow, we will be talking a little bit more. We're going to wrap it up. Definitely show you what comes in the kit and what comes with it all, and how you learn, because I have some reference books that I will send you if you do decide to join in, and it will teach you the process. So hang on, watch tomorrow, because that's where you're going to really learn how it all comes together. Okay, we will see you tomorrow.